She asked me to pretend, but how do you pretend not to love someone who healed everything you thought was broken? As the rain poured outside the elegant restaurant window, Ethan Cole sat across from Lila Parker, her trembling hands clutching a coffee cup. He was the kind of man who built empires from nothing, calm, sharp, controlled. Yet in that moment, all his walls began to crumble. Lila's voice was soft but carried the weight of something deeper. Ethan, I just need you to pretend to be my date, for one night. Please. He should have said no. But something about the desperation in her eyes, the hidden pain she tried so hard to mask, made it impossible to refuse. That one night changed everything. What started as an act became the most real thing either of them had ever felt. Chapter 1, The Deal of Pretend Love. Ethan Cole was known in every financial magazine as the unreachable man. At 36, he had rebuilt a multi-billion-dollar company from the ashes after his wife's death, raising his 8-year-old daughter, Emma, alone. His life was all schedules, meetings, and the quiet ache of loneliness he never admitted even to himself. Until that evening, when he met Lila Parker. She wasn't from his world. Lila, 29, worked as an event planner for the very charity gala Ethan's company sponsored. She was hardworking, passionate, and constantly juggling bills, dreams, and heartbreaks she never spoke of. When she spilled coffee all over his $1,000 suit that morning in the cafe, she expected anger, but instead, Ethan just smiled. Guess it's a Monday for both of us, he said, helping her pick up her files. She didn't know that one small act of kindness would make him linger in her mind all day. Hours later, she called him, not as a business contact, but out of sheer desperation. Her ex-fiancé, the man who broke her heart and publicly humiliated her, was attending the same charity gala. He was bringing his new fiancée, the woman he cheated with. Lila couldn't face them alone. So she called Ethan. Mr. Cole, I know this sounds crazy, she said over the phone, her voice shaky. But would you pretend to be my date for one night? I just need to show him I'm fine. That I've moved on. There was silence. Then Ethan's deep voice, calm yet unexpectedly warm. Lila, I don't do pretend very well. But, I'll go. At the gala, all eyes turned when they entered together. Lila in a crimson dress that shimmered like confidence reborn, Ethan in his black tuxedo, tall, composed, the picture of devotion. He held her hand like it meant something. And maybe it already did. When her ex approached with smug arrogance, Ethan slipped his arm around her waist and smiled. She's taken, he said coolly. And trust me, she's happier than ever. Lila's heart thumped. It was just pretend, but the warmth in his voice felt anything but. Throughout the evening, they shared laughs that weren't scripted, glances that lingered too long, and moments where time seemed to pause. For the first time in years, Lila felt safe, seen. Later, outside under the string lights, Lila whispered, "Thank you for doing this." Ethan looked at her for a long moment. Lila, you don't have to thank me. I haven't felt this alive in a long time. Neither realized it then, but the night that began with pretending would awaken a love they didn't believe they deserved. Chapter 2, When Pretending Becomes Real. Weeks passed, but the night of the gala replayed in Ethan's mind like a song he couldn't stop hearing. He tried to move on, focus on his company, his daughter, his plans, but every time his phone buzzed, a part of him hoped it was Lila. It always was. They started meeting, as friends. Coffee breaks turned into late-night dinners, laughter became comfort, and their walls slowly fell. Emma adored Lila too. She'd draw pictures of the three of them together and say, "Daddy, she makes you smile." Ethan hadn't realized until then how much his heart missed that simple joy. But love, even accidental, is rarely easy. Lila's insecurities resurfaced when tabloids caught a photo of her with Ethan, labeling her as the mystery woman chasing a CEO. Rumors spread at her workplace, and her ex began mocking her again. One evening, she confronted Ethan in tears. "Ethan, this isn't your problem anymore. I can't let you ruin your reputation because of me." He took a step closer, his voice low but firm. "Lila, I don't care what they say. You think this was just pretending. Because I stopped pretending the night I met you." Tears glistened in her eyes. "You can't mean that." "I do," he said softly. "You made me remember what it feels like to live again. To feel. And I'm not letting go because of some rumors." In that moment, Lila realized that love wasn't about grand gestures, it was about finding someone who stayed when the world walked away. Later that week, at Emma's school event, Lila stood beside Ethan as he proudly watched his daughter perform. The warmth of his hand intertwined with hers told her everything she needed to know: this was real. That night, after Emma fell asleep, Ethan confessed quietly, "When you asked me to pretend, I thought it would be just one night. But I found my forever instead." Lila smiled through tears, resting her head on his chest. "Then I guess we both stopped pretending. Ending message for YouTube audience. Sometimes life brings people together through unexpected roles, pretend lovers, temporary saviors, accidental friends. But the heart always knows what's real.